So today we are going to discuss about a very important topic, or rather a very trivial topic, which you mostly hear a lot around these days. So we are going to discuss about big data. So the first question comes in your mind is, what is big data? Most of the people don't have a clear understanding of what is big data, or rather you cannot give a trivial definition of a big data. See, it is like, there are some things like you cannot define. You can define a line, but you cannot define a point. It's something similar to that. So here the basic understanding of big data comes with the understanding of internet. So mostly all the data that we consider as a big data is evolved from internet. So to understand big data, we must understand first how internet generates the data. So basically, we use a lot of internet nowadays. Back in the 90s, when internet was in its, you can say, bare bones stages, the data that was generated was not that significant. So it could be direct. You could maintain like normal databases, which we commonly use like MySQL, Oracle, SQL Server, and all those things to keep the track of the data. Okay, so earlier it was directly used on databases, but now as the data size goes on increasing, and here the data size increases exponentially. If you are generating a data traffic one day of 1 GB, next day you could generate about 10 GB or 100 GB. You cannot predict actually. So that's why it is called as big data. So basically here what is involved is that most of the data that is handled here is a large set of data that is generated due to the day-to-day activities we do on the internet. For instance, if I ask you what are the common things you use on the internet, most of the people would start with FB, Facebook, then there's Gmail, okay, and YouTube, and the list goes on. Like social networking sites, shopping sites, Amazon, Flipkart, and all those things. So all these sites, or you could say internet giants, kind of maintain your data or your preferences. Okay, so these preferences are what constitute of big data. Okay, so it's mining your preferences is what big data is all about. What you need and what you want is all about big data. Okay, so how this process actually works? So there are two parts. Okay, so there is a storage mechanism which allows us to have independent storage spaces. Okay, physically independent I'm talking about, not logically. See, they will be logically, they will be connected. Okay, so what does physical independence mean? See, if I tell you you have to store 10,000 GB of data, you would say you don't have a physical storage device which is capable of storing 10,000 GB or around 1000 GB of data. Okay, so what would you do? So you could cascade hundreds of hard disks of 100 GB or something like that, or a similar solution to that. So that's what it's all about. So the physical storage of data. So this is achieved using distributed file systems. So most common file system here is HDFS. That is the Hadoop. Okay. So you have multiple variations of Hadoop now. Like there's original Hortonworks, then there's Cloudera, and all those guys. Means loads and loads of different variations of packages, you could say. The earlier packages were based on Linux only, but now you have everything from Mac and Windows as well. So it is all revolutionary thing. Okay, the big data thing. So it's all about the preferences about the users. Like you generate hundreds and tons of data of users every day. Okay, and that data is useful for the companies. Like if you see Amazon side, if you are buying an item, okay, if you are buying a pair of shoes, so they will show you a pair of socks which are matching with the shoes are most commonly taken. So that is what preferential mining. Okay, or another word you can call it ontological engineering. Okay, so finding preferences of users. Similar lines on Facebook. If you are liking a certain kind of page, you are liking a page of a Bollywood star or kind of fitness or kind of that kind of pages. So the suggestions would be based on similar kinds of things. So they are actually mining your opinions. Okay, so this is what is all about big data. Apart from that, big data is applied in investments and all those things, share market and all of this for analyzing the trend that is going to happen. You see, the forecasting of the future. So you can say for business analytics, like previously, all business decisions were taken based on intuition. Okay, but now as the market grows, you cannot really rely on the intuition thing. You see, different people have different choices. So how do you know what people want? Okay, so there comes advertising and all lot of things which constitute under big data. So if you are planning for a career choice, big data is the best choice and the best profile that you could opt for. So why is it so important? See, it is our day-to-day life and mining our day-to-day life. So here mostly the algorithms are not really fixed. Okay, the trend changes, the algorithm changes, or likewise. So here what is important is a person's intuition. Okay, to design the algorithms to suit the needs of today. Okay, so the whole trend changes almost 3 to 6 months, and we have a different trend altogether. So the handling of all the data needs to be done very differently. Okay, so here it is important because if you are from any branch, like I'm talking about all the commerce branches and science branches. Okay, so you can have a lot of contribution to this field. Like this field is kind of mixed. You see, it's partially a mathematical field, partially a computational field, and apart from that, it's all about imagination. Okay, so it's not 100%. You cannot say it is a 100% developed field. A lot of improvements and enhancements are onto it. So there's a lot of scope for research here. Okay, so if you are a research major or some kind of student who wants to do a good research, so this field is for you. Okay, so that's why it is strategically important as well. Most of the companies hire people and offer them very fat salaries for positions of data scientists and all those things. So you could look at it as a career opportunity. So apart from that, we'll talk about the specific opportunities in big data. So as I said earlier, most of this big data thing is about analysis. So there's something called as a data analyst. Okay, so data analyst basically finds the specimens of data. See, if I give you the data of 10,000 individuals on Facebook and their activities, so you have to find a matching link or missing link kind of thing to understand the trend. Okay, some kind of trend. What kind of clothes they prefer, drinks they prefer, or any kind of thing which I am specifically interested in, or what kind of behavior is commonly observed here, or something like that. So sorry. Yeah? So this kind of thing you could say is done by the analyst. That is the finding part. You see, you can say the clustering of data, the first part of it. And then there is something called as a profile called a data scientist. He is the person who applies his intuition to design algorithms for getting optimum results. Here I have said optimum results, not accurate results. See, studying a data trend is not really that easy as it looks. Most of the results are actually, you can say, optimal results or optimum results, not 100% correct results. So a very challenging field, and apart from data scientists, data analysts, there are creative teams that go for data packaging and all those things. So there are a lot more opportunities in this field. Okay. So I will conclude here by saying, if you are really want to building a nice career and want to opt for something challenging, then this field is for you. Your 70% opportunities here, I would say majority opportunities lie in this field, and you could come into this field from any background. If you are pursuing an MBA or something, so you could do your MBA in business analytics or something like that, and you can get into this field. If you are a computer science major, you can get into this field. If you are a math major, you can get into this field, and a lot more things. You see, it's a very highly evolving field, and I think most of the individuals should consider it as a first job preference. Thank you.